Hi everyone, hope you're well. Hope you're having a good week so far, and if you're in the UK, hopefully you're having a bit of lovely sunshine, which just makes everything feel better, doesn't it? Like such a mood booster, like the weather, it really does make such a difference. Thanks for joining me today. Welcome back if you're a returning subscriber, and if you're new here, hi. This is Busy Bee Budgets, where we talk about all things to do with cash stuffing, budgeting on a high income, and moving towards kind of financial independence. And I started this journey to be more mindful about where my money was going, and just bring it more in balance of my life, really. So I've been fortunate enough to go part-time this month, and as such, my budget's changed a little bit, but I think the paradox is the more you earn in the UK, then obviously the more you get taxed. So actually, although I've dropped my hours, my pay's only dropped by about 10%. So I've dropped my hours by about 30% and my pay's only dropped by 10%. So I've just been really fortunate that's kind of the way it's played out. So this month is the first month of kind of my reduced income. And then last month I had a couple of really big expenses. So my car failed its MOT and needed like 1,200 quid's worth of work doing. And which it's never done before. That car has literally cost me nothing over 6 years. So it's really good that obviously it's never cost me anything really. But obviously just a bit of a big expense all in one go. And also I was fortunate enough to buy a little business that is going to be like my passion project. But basically what that did was wipe me out of all of my savings, and all those two things basically wiped me out of all of my savings and all my available cash. So what I did last month was kind of slightly raid my sinking funds just to kind of tide me over for the month and pay for everything that I needed to pay for. This month is about me taking stock and kind of deciding how I want to do my sinking funds going forward. And I think last month, and then also I've watched a couple of really good videos. One was Balancing the Budget with Gemma, and the other was Rainbow Budgets, about this idea of Snowball sinking funds. And obviously some of you might be aware of kind of the Snowball method for debts, which is basically tackling your lowest value debt first, and then building up momentum as you go, which I really liked as a concept for sinking funds, because I've kind of come back to zero almost on my sinking funds. And it was kind of clear to me that just stuffing a bit every paycheck means that sometimes you're always going to have these variations. So I hadn't been able to stuff fully for the car, and had I done that, it would have been different. So I think it always depends where you start in the year on these things. And I think maybe year 2 will be much easier on sinking funds. And I think part of it is you just need to build them up first, to give you that kind of backup when stuff happens. So as a result of those two things, I've redesigned how I'm going to do my sinking funds. So I think if I go back to last month, so in March I kind of absolutely raided it all. I didn't stuff loads of things. I only stuffed emergency and Christmas to give myself the cash to deal with buying the business and the other bits and pieces. And then I don't know if I did it in February. So yeah, in February I kind of stuffed more traditionally. So I put 400 in experiences, Christmas, emergency, car, home, all the kind of sinking funds. So what I'm going to do this month is I'm going to clear out what I've got left in my sinking funds. So I've got £20 left in home, and these weren't spent on, I didn't spend the money that was in here on home. It was, as I say, just to kind of deal with that car and stuff. And I've got, I think, 200 in emergency. We'll see. 20, 40, 60, 81, 20, 40, 60, 82. And then Christmas has got 20, 40, 60, 80, 90, 100. So I've got 320. There's nothing left in any of the other sinking funds. Oh, actually, I've got some in clothes. I think I've got 50 in clothes. So 20, 40, 50. And what I've said about clothes is I will only... I haven't bought any new clothes since February. So February, March and April have been no clothes months. And actually, I've not really missed it at all. And I don't know about you guys, I've got a little bit of pandemic weight I need to lose. So I've got wardrobes full of clothes, and the kind of deal is basically I need to sell stuff to fund if I want to buy anything else. I'm not actually missing it, and I definitely want to be more mindful about buying clothes, and buy more ethically and all of those types of things. So I'm basically not buying any clothes. That was a really long way of saying I'm not buying any clothes at the moment. So I'm not buying any clothes at the moment. I need to kind of lose some weight and get back into the stuff that I've got already. And then if that's not going to happen, then I need to sell that stuff because I have too many clothes and I don't need any more. So I'm thinking actually maybe of doing a no buy year for clothes actually. So yeah, I'm already 3 months in, so I'm kind of like, well, we could just finish it off the rest of the year. So I think I'm going to do that. The only exception, and I probably will use this money in the next month or so, is I kind of need some new like bras and stuff, like some boring underwear. So I'll probably spend it on that, but that's, do we count those as clothes? I mean, I guess they are underclothes, aren't they? But you know, they're not really like, it's not like a new outfit or a new dress or whatever. So that's kind of the plan for that. So I'm going to leave that 50 in clothes for now because I've kind of got a plan for that. But everything else, so I've got 320 in cash, which I'll just pop here. And then I've got these placeholders. I can't remember who they were from. I'll link them below, but they're really lovely. So I've got 100, I've got 200, 300, guess where I'm going here, 400, 500, and then I've got a 1,000. So what I'm going to do is attack these sinking funds. But what I'm also going to do is mainly leave them in the bank. Firstly, because one of the things I'm going to stuff is emergency fund, and I think it's just handy to have it in a bank because I'm probably going to have to spend on my card if it's you know, the washing machine goes or something. It's going to have to be a card purchase. So just having the money in the bank is helpful because, as I say, I don't have a bank in the town I live. So if something bad happened, then I need to get to a bank and pay in the cash. And like, I think it would just be more stressful. So I'm going to put £1,000 into my emergency fund. So what I'm going to do is put a placeholder in here, and this emergency fund I'm just basically going to keep in the bank in a savings account and not touch it at all. Is kind of the plan. So that's 1,000 going into the emergency fund. And then this month I've got £2,000 to stuff. So I've got £1,000 done in the emergency fund. And then what I'm also going to do is stuff, I want to put 250 into my business. So I'll probably do that in cash. So 20, 40, 60, 81, 20, 40, 60, 82, 20, 40, 250. So 250 is going to go into my business account. And I've got a separate folder for that, so I'll just get that in a second. So I'm going to pop that to one side for now. And then 750, I'm going to pay off my credit card because, so it's not really a sinking fund this month, but going forward, financial goals is all about a sinking fund. So I'm going to pay 750 off my credit card, which is some of the money that I put towards the car expenses. So this month I'm going to try, this month and next month I'm going to clear the balance on my credit card. So I'm going to put 750 in, and I'm going to do that basically online, electronically, pay that on my bank account into that. So I'm not going to stuff that today. So long and short of it is, so my sinking funds, what I've done is stuff £1,000 into my emergency fund, but then that is fully funded. And then next month, what I'm going to aim to do is stuff, still going to do financial goals, which is going to be part sinking fund and part like debt repayment at the moment. And then I'm going to stuff some of my other categories. So the other categories I have in my sinking funds. So what I'm going to do, so I've got, apart from financial goals, which I'm going to stuff every month, I've got house, hang on, let me just move this around so you can see this a bit better. House, car, emergency, which we fully funded today, Christmas, vets, travel and experience, treats and clothes. What I'm going to do is not stuff clothes, as I talked about, because I'm going to treat that as a kind of no-buy type year. Treats, what I've decided to do with this is if I have any money left over from my variable binders every week, so basically a rollover, I'm going to transfer that over to treats. And actually I use that money this month to buy myself a pair of workout trainers, and it was just really nice that it was kind of specifically in those treats folders. So I'm not going to stuff it from my budget, but what I am going to do is every time I get a little bit of extra money, I'm just going to pop it in there. And then perhaps when I'm doing my side hustle incomes, I might put some aside for treats for myself, but only once everything else is kind of sorted. So that's kind of really one that's not going to get stuffed. Travelling experiences, which is kind of one of those that, although lovely to have, is actually not a priority for me at the moment. And what I'd rather do is some of these more kind of pressing ones. So travelling experiences will get stuff later, but they're not the priorities. So what I'm going to focus on is house, car, Christmas and vets, because Christmas is definitely going to come and it's going to be an inevitability. Vets, my dog is old, bless her, and so you know, kind of, you never know what's around the corner, so I'd like to have vets fully stuffed soon. Car, obviously it's cost me a lot recently, but the insurance will be due in August and I'd like to pay that. I always pay it every year in full, but I'd like to have a sinking fund that kind of has that ready rather than paying for it monthly. So what I'm going to do, so obviously this is for April. For May, what I'm planning to do is, now emergencies fully funded, is to hit up vets and car, and I need to add in health actually. So basically what I think I'm going to try and do is use this snowball technique and fully fund health and vets, and then part of car next month, and then the month after that focus on car and house, and then hopefully by the time we kind of get to September, October time, then I can fully fund Christmas and so on and so forth. So the idea is that basically, I guess, depending on need, I'm going to fully stuff as much as I can, rather than like each fund getting 50 or 100 quid each month, which takes time to build up. And the problem is when you have some of these emergencies, if you're not quite fully funded, then you have to raid other funds, and it just seems to be a bit more complicated than it needs to be. So I'm going to try this for a few months and see kind of where we get to. So as I say, for April, this is like what's happening, but I've kind of got a plan for the rest of the year. But I'm mainly going to probably stuff those not in physical cash, but in these like placeholders, and keep the money in the bank so that I can see it grow, which I think will be good. And also I don't want to keep that much cash in the house because some of these fund balances are going to be quite high towards the end. So that's that. So what I'm going to just do is quickly put my 250 into my so I bought this off I think it was Paper Moon, but I didn't realise I was buying a bigger one. So I got a bit of a big one, but actually it still works. And so what I'm going to do here is, this is all my income. So I've got bank, I've got rollover, I've got my side hustle A, side hustle B, side hustle C, and YouTube. And then depending on the income that I get into these folders, they will do whatever. But side hustle B is my business. And so I'm going to put £250 into that this month so that I can buy some more stock and kind of do some of the bits that I want to with that business. So that's getting 250 today. But I do kind of, I know it's not strictly a sinking fund, but I do view it as an investment. So that's kind of why for me it works to treat it as part of the sinking funds. Because, you know, in time I'm hoping that I will get a return on that investment, and that will be where we are. So that is how I'm going to treat sinking funds using this kind of snowball method. I think it just makes sense. I'm really comfortable now that I've already fully funded my emergency fund. That's back to where it needs to be, which just means that if anything pops up in the next few weeks, I've got that buffer and I can deal with it. And then over time, I will kind of do the priorities. And I think what I'd like to do is, see where we get to by the end of the year. And then, like I say, I think next year will be easier because hopefully some of these sinking funds will still be at a certain level and you won't have to constantly be stuffing them as much. So that should make sense. So thank you for listening to me. Love to hear what you're doing about sinking funds at the moment. Just be really interested to see if you think it's a good way of doing it or if there's something else I should be thinking of. And that is all. So take care, stay safe, have a lovely day, and I'll see you soon.